Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be doing an album review. I'm going to be taking a look at this record today, which is the new one by Trashcan Sinatras called Ever the Optimist. So yes, I'll just be doing my usual thing in this video, giving a bit of background information about the album, showing you my vinyl copy of it here, and then looking at each of the album's tracks in detail. So this is the Trashcan Sinatras' 7th studio album and their first in 10 years after 2016's album Wild Pendulum. So the band, if you don't know, go way back to the mid 1980s, formed in Irvine, Scotland, and remarkably have kept the same lineup entirely since then. But consequently, though, they're hardly the most prolific band. As I said, this being only their 7th album, after a nearly 40-year career in music. They're back with this album here. So produced by a guy called Paul Savage, who was a drummer in another Glasgow band called the Delgados. In more recent years, the Trashcan Sinatras have kind of in terms of where they've been located, the members have been sort of split between America and Scotland, with lead singer Francis Reeder living in California. So consequently, all 5 members of the band were not in the studio at the same time, at any point during the making of this album. So the tracks were kind of initially formed around the rhythm section. So drummer Steve Douglas, bassist Davey Hughes, and guitarist John Douglas put down the basic tracks before sending those over to guitarist Paul Livingston and Francis Reeder also adding his vocals. So like the album Wild Pendulum, this album features also features some contributions from Simon Dine, who is credited with co-writing I think 6 of the tracks on this album. But I find it interesting that he's involved, because he himself is a record producer. He's worked with the likes of Paul Weller in recent years, but he's not actually credited as producing this album. It's something he's got a weird credit, something Sonic Consultant or something like that. Now, tragically though, only I think it was about 4 days after the album came out, the guitarist in the band, John Douglas, sadly passed away. So he was aged only 62. He just got over cancer a couple of years ago, and seemed to be doing fine. But then I died only after a short illness. So he was it was very sad to hear that. I think consequently this will probably be the Trashcan's last album. In terms of commercial success, this album unfortunately failed to chart on the official UK charts, but it did reach number 3 on the Scotland albums chart, which is really good, and number 17 on the UK physical sales chart. So I will try to show you my vinyl copy of it here. So this is it's some sort of not quite deluxe version, but it's on a Kingfisher Blue vinyl, it's called, and it's a numbered pressing. So I've got number 72 off whatever that is, 300 there. So that's very nice. Cover there. Back cover is just the track listing. And then on the inside here, you've got a really nice inner sleeve here, just with kind of credits and thanks, and lots of pictures off the band there, which is really nice. The vinyl itself, like I said, is on this lovely blue. You've also, with this particular version, got a little bonus 7-inch as well. So you've got a bonus track on here, on one of the sides, and then a remix of one of the tracks on the other. And then what also came with this particular copy of it as well is this little art print as well, which I believe they were giving out at what's turned out to be their last show. They performed in the Harbour Arts Centre in Lagan, the hometown of Irvine, so that's HIC there. So they must have been giving these out, and for some reason Asai Records in Edinburgh had these with the album. So yeah, it's signed there by all members of the band, so that is really nice. So anyway, I will now go over each of the album tracks in detail. So I'll score each song out of 10 and then use those scores to give us a overall percentage marking for the album. I'm just So the album starts off with the title track, Ever the Optimist, which is a really fun, upbeat, bouncy track. Really great kind of catchy piano line to sort of like take you into like the album. Reminds me a bit of the Style Council's May Ever Change Your Moods. It's got that kind of driving, kind of soulful feel to it. And the song itself is just a really well written, very tight song. Great vocals on it. Like they're all like sort of like great harmonies and interwoven and overlapping. Yeah, they really it's a really well detailed track, this, and it feels like a little bit like a throwback, I guess, to sort of like their earlier like material. I'm thinking of particularly like a song called Hay Fever, like off theirs. It's got that similar like kind of like driving feel, and again a great lyric on this about basically just about like keeping like a positive outlook in life, and like they say, like, and just gambling, trying to hold it together always forever through stormy weather. So yeah, just a song about being upbeat, being positive, like looking like all like bright side, and yeah, it's a really great song to kick off the album. Next one up is called Games for the ZX Spectrum. So this one is a slightly more, I guess, downbeat sort of track. It kind of like the title references the 80s like computer, but it's a slightly like, so you maybe expect this to be a more kind of techno or like electronic song, but it's essentially quite a reflective track about feeling lost and like directionless things. Like basically like the chorus of it goes like, doesn't matter what I did before, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So yeah, it's a little bit down and dour, but I do really like it. I think it's a nice sort of breather, I guess, like after like the upbeat like opening track. And the next one up is called Bad Husband. Now this one was one of the singles that was taken from the album, and this one features Tracy Ann Campbell from the band Camera Obscura duetting with Francis Reader like on this. And it's a kind of great duet, this one, a kind of classic husband-wife sort of song, basically about the husband kind of like admitting like his like shortcomings and that, like bad husband, making poor judgment, and all I really needed to say was this isn't working, like goes like the chorus. I think it's a really well done duet, this. I think their voices blend really well together, and it's just all wrapped up like in a very direct and punchy song here. Okay, next track up was another single. I think this might have been the lead-off single, which is called The Bitter End, and I must say, like none of the singles really from this album really grabbed me, or didn't really spend too much time with them. It was only when the album came out and I kind of had the album like on pre-order that I really got to know like a lot of like these songs. So I think this song like has been out since something like February, but I've only really just got round to listening to it now, and I have to say it's an absolutely fantastic song. It's a really it's a lot more heavy, a lot more meaty, this song, and it's easily one of the best like on the album. It's a really uplifting track where even the verse on it feels like a chorus, and it just feels like it gets bigger and bigger and bigger like as it goes on, with a great kind of wall of harmonies like on it, and yeah, it's just an absolutely great song. It's a track though which I think probably for a lot of fans does have a real kind of bittersweet like kind of like feel to it, and I guess for people who are bigger fans like of like the band than me, and maybe even knew them personally, like it's a song that is like a song that like they might find a bit tough to listen to, particularly given like the chorus going like in memory of a friend, I'll meet you again at the bitter end. So yeah, given the death like of like John Douglas there, like quite like profound lines. So yeah, I think the bitter end is a really like lovely song. It's a great pairing of music, lyrics, and just a really great song. Next Next one up is called A View From Nowhere. This one is a more kind of chilled out kind of song, a kind of mid-tempo number, this one, with some nice guitar work on it, and a kind of memorable keyboards part like going through like the track. I think it builds up really well, this one here. It's not one of the most immediate songs like on the album. You could maybe argue and say, oh, it's maybe filler, but I think it's nice. And then like I said, like it builds up almost towards like the end, where you almost end up with a kind of 10cc-esque, like I'm Not in Love, like wall like of harmonies, like joining in like the song like in like the second half. So no, it's a nice song, that one there. A View From Nowhere would get a 7 out of 10 from me.
And hold on to today.
Next up on the album is called Hold On To Today. This is probably now the slowest, I guess, ballad like on like the album. It's actually even more like, I'd say more like of like a lullaby like than anything really. It's very softly sung like by Francis Reader, and you've also got vocal contributions on here from Green Gartside from Scritti Politti. Now I must say I'm not a massive Scritti Politti fan. I have tried to get into them, but I just can't. I just can't do it, and I think it's the vocals like that sort of do it for me. So, and like on like this track like as well, the vocals, I just don't think their voices go really well together, and I think it it's nowhere near like as successful a duet as Bad Husband is, like for me personally. The song itself is nice, it's pleasant, but it's just not very distinctive either, like as like a song. So yeah, like overall, Hold On To Today would get a 6 out of 10 and is my least favourite on the album. But then we flip over the album and it starts off with something a bit different called the Associated Funk, which is a more experimental, almost dance-orientated song. I'm just gonna look back at like the credits here just to see like if this is a co-write with Simon Dine, but certainly it's actually, to be fair, like he's not even got like a credit like on this one here. Like he's got like it says like Simon Dine's sonic scenery on Ever the Optimist, Bad Husband, Rome, Melodramatic, and Birds I Couldn't Identify. So he's not actually even like involved with this one. So, but it feels like one that he might be, because it is a very almost kind of like dance orientated song, this one here. A bit of a throwback to their previous album. It's not one of my favourites on the album though. It's something different. It kind of it certainly picks up the pace like after two slightly more mid-tempo, slower songs. But yeah, it's probably not one that I would necessarily pick out to listen to like out with the album. And then we get a really great song next up called Rome, which is a really detailed, textured song, which, like I had said, like in like my notes, like feels like it has Simon Dine like all over it. And yeah, like as I said, like he is like actually credited like on like this one here. This is a John Douglas lead vocal. I think it might be his only lead vocal like on this album. So like his voice works really well like on this one here, like in like sort of like the dreamy soundscape like Dine provides, and then his vocal is just really nice. And then there's some awesome guitar work on it as well from Paul Livingston. This kind of quite abrasive solo, but kind of paired with the slower kind of track, really reminds me a bit of Talk and the Spirit of Eden album. Like there's some of like the guitar on that album reminds me like this one here. So Rome is a really good song. It's definitely a grow up like on the album, and yeah, it might even be like a 10 out of 10 like one day, like you never know. But right now, giving it a 9 out of 10. Next up on the album is called Melodramatic. Now this was another single, but again was one that just absolutely like, passed me by like when it was out like as a single, and it's a song I absolutely love. It could well be my favourite on the album. It's kind of, I guess you could, I guess if you were being harsh, you'd say, oh, it's just Trashcan Sinatras by numbers, but to me, it's everything I love about them. It's kind of got great lyrics and kind of witty kind of wordplay. Like there's a line about like having like something like your hands like a kind of quarter to two or something like that, like, and I'm keeping my eyes on the peripheral view, goes one of like the lyrics. I think they're really well written, kind of clever lyrics, paired with a great jangly track. There's a lot of kind of 12-string Rickenbacker work going on like this song here, and it really could have for me fitted on like their debut album Cake. It's just got that very catchy and immediate like kind of feel to it. And again, for Trashcan Sinatras, the vocals are just absolutely like on point, great harmony work and like on like the track like as well. So yeah, for me they're like almost like a perfect song. Like I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 because yeah, it's a song that I've just like kept like coming back to from the album.
Wagtails, kingfishers, birds I couldn't identify.
Okay, that's not on the album. Penultimate track is another one which I could consider my favourite actually. It's called Birds I Couldn't Identify, and I just absolutely like love this song. It's a wistful track, this one, about kind of looking back on kind of better or more innocent, maybe less complicated times, and kind of appreciating beauty or sort of like a kind of positive feeling kind of thing, like even if you can't quite put your finger like on like what it is. So there's lines in it like I focused on like the wrong things, like it's like a key line, and then like there's that great sort of like line about like birds I couldn't identify. It's a really again well written, well considered song, this one here. And again, you've got Simon Dine like contributing some sonic scenery like on this one here, and it's a one I think works really well. Like it's a pairing that really works, distinctive production with a really beautiful song that would be almost just as beautiful like if like you played it like just like on like an acoustic guitar, like or like piano, really stripped back. So yeah, it's a hallmark like of like a great song that. So Birds I Couldn't Identify would also get a 10 out of 10. And then we reach the album closer, which is a song called Learning to Love Your Ghost, which is a much slower one, this one here, and again is certainly a track that has taken on like a new poignancy following John Douglas's death. Again, Francis Reader sings this song with absolute conviction, and then sort of like again builds up to this soaring crescendo like at like the end, like that I Will Float line, like just sort of like echoing like sort of like on like the outro like off like the song. It's just an absolutely beautiful song really to end like not only this album but also most likely the Trashcan Sinatras like career. Like again, like I said, like I don't think they will make another album like after this, and yeah, just what a way to go out with 3 like incredible songs there. So yeah, Learning to Love Your Ghost, really great song, would get a 9 out of 10 from me. Okay, so overall this album would score 86%, so I think this is an absolutely cracking album. Again, initially I didn't have too high expectations going into this. Like I kind of, like I said, like I pre-ordered the album. I'm like a fan of theirs, but I wasn't, super hyped about it like or anything, but it just absolutely blew me away. For a band to be 40 years like into like their career, still making music like this consistently good, but also trying out new things like as well. Like there's a lot of variety like on this album, and it really doesn't get boring. It's a kind of bittersweet album, and I think it's a mature record like as well, but it's not, it doesn't feel like a kind of group of oldies kind of getting together reminiscing about old times like other kind of bands from this era like you've like got back together. I'm thinking of like the likes of like the Bluebells, like for like example. This one feels very much like a kind of heartfelt sort of album. It's uplifting like in parts, but also genuinely like reflective like as well. And like instrumentally it feels a bit more like a return to like their roots like in some ways. Yeah, I could certainly make the case for this possibly being my favourite my album like off theirs like overall. It's probably like on a par with like their debut album Cake, which I absolutely love, and I would say this is actually stronger than other fan favourites such as I've Seen Everything Now, and a happy pocket like as well. I think this is just a bit tighter and more consistent, and perhaps even a bit more like adventurous as well, like in terms like of like where it goes musically, like than those albums. So yeah, absolutely fantastic records here. Like I would recommend people to check out Trashcan Sinatras. They're so underrated, and yeah, this is a brilliant record and will certainly be on my albums of the year list. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time for the next one. Goodbye.